got very vicious through this war because the European had inflicted so much pain amongst the people, you know, that's how it was in return. So they had to give it to them the same way in return, right? So in 1758, the caste system was defined, giving rights to groups of people, 3 groups, just the same as we know, upper class, middle class, lower class, right? So they decided in 1758 to create this, right? And it was called the caste system, all right? And now the first group was the white colonists, subdivided, which they was plantation owners or lower class serving as overseers or day laborers. That was the first group. The second group was free people of color, mixed mulattoes who were educated and literate, so and men of service that went to the army. So that means that you had to be educated. Just think about it. So the second group, think about today. Like me, I'm educated, I can speak, but I've never been to the army, right? Mixed, however, got a little red in my, So, that's how they, and so the mind state that they would divide us, and now you think you this class and that class, like, you hear me? That's destruction, divide and conquer right then and there. But that's the second group. The third group was 10 to 1 African-born slaves. You was all a G. You knew who you was, like, and you knew what class, just like, now that's us. On the bottom. You know what I mean? Now that's how, that's that lower class, like, which was the planters that had to import new slaves, which kept the culture more. So they say that it was 10 to 1 African, right, born slaves, but they say they had a high rate of mortality, high rate, and that was based on the weakening of how the master had kept the people and feeding them bare minimum, and giving them the disease. And so that group, they kept separation from the rest of the island. Now that's crazy, right? And so you got to think, all right, so let's go ahead and let's just air out. Let's air out, let's say, let's air out Ohio, right? And now let's just say, like, all right, let's say for instance, right, all right, we know we all from Ohio, right? The ones that's from Ohio. Now, they starting to bring in people from the Caribbean, right? And they start to bring in people from Africa. We're going to do that, right? So we know we the people from Ohio, right? And so we already got our ties. We already connected with each other, right? We already building. We already know the lingo with each other. We building. Now, we slaves, though. Don't get that twisted. We slaves. But now our brothers come from, from the Caribbean and from Africa, and automatically, they getting put in one of these groups. You see what I'm saying? Now, one of these groups, they could be any one of these groups. However, when they first get there, they get separated off the rip from those that are originally from the island. So they would get separated from us. So we would be working. We would see them come through just like in penitentiary. You know how when the new inmates come in, I did 4.5 years plus 6 months jury bits. I did some time inside. For those that may not know, Philip Lawrence Atkinson. I done some time. So when you inside and you see the new inmates coming in, you just see them walking, like the chain gang walking. You might, hey, my G, what, all of that, right? However, you don't get to see them, right? So until you get to like, you might catch them when they get to the dorm, get the child later, or get to their parent, whatever, however go, you see them later. But you might not, or you might not never see some of them. You might only see them crossing. You know, as you're leaving the child hall, then that inmate might be going to the child hall. So that's how they kept them separated, just like they do in prison today. So you don't even know, like, all right, so boom, once again, we in Ohio. So they just say we in Ohio prison, right? So now we in Ohio prison, and they might keep New York, people from New York away from the Ohio. They might be on a whole other side somewhere, like, you know what I mean? Like, we got a parent institution. We might be over here, but out-of-towners might be somewhere else on another dorm. We might see them, but we might be crossing paths. Some of us may be mixed in, some of us may not. You see what I'm saying? You might be doing bid with some of them you may not, right? Like, yeah, my homie, he on the other side. It's always another side. That's what I'm saying. So with that, it's always separation. So knowing that they've always separated us, because you got to understand, prison, also modern day slavery as well, so the separation. So the knowledge that we have, being that this is our home in Ohio, we wouldn't be able to give them, share that with them, because they would be on the other side. We wouldn't be able to gain that communication and be able to unite and overpower and overthrow what they got and what, you know what I'm saying, the people at home or that parent, you know, institution or that actual plantation, right? Same thing. So I just wanted to give you that quick illustration. Same thing they was doing here as we continue. So I say they divided slaves from Africa from Creoles. So they, you know what I mean? So the Africans, they wasn't able to build with the Creoles. Nah, they kept them away on the other side like they do in prison, like keep you on the other side, right? And so they were unable to build with to speak with the Creoles, or they were divided from the Creoles, which were the slave borns in a colony. You know, so they was born in a colony, who had kin networks, like kinfolks. You know, we network. We got kinfolks, so we network. So who had kin networks and more prestigious roles on the plantation. Like your role, you have more powerful role here in Ohio than, you know, someone that's coming in. So, you know what I'm saying? So prestigious role on the plantation for emancipation. You know what I mean? So that was what they strategically knew. So the division and how they separate, or how they may, you know, they might persuade a group to go this way or a group to go that way, right? And that's just to keep y'all away, you know, because when y'all come together, y'all knowledge and y'all experience and y'all power and y'all getting back to y'all essence, y'all root, getting back to the voodoo, that's something that they don't want, right? But that's what we're doing anyways. You hear me? So the majority, they were from Yoruba, Nigeria, Fan, or Benin, Congo, the kingdom, which is now Angola, and the Western Congo. The Congolese, at 40%, were the largest of the African slaves. The slaves used the diaspora elements forming the voodoo that rejected slavery status. So when they came together with the elements, and they allowed the spirit to move, and the voodoo said, what? Slave? Nah, rejected it. Yeah, the voodoo rejected the status of slavery. This is what you got to understand, what they have been hiding from you. This is what you got to understand, what they have been taking away from us from so long. They have been taking this away from us from so long. So we got to really understand what has been going on. You know, we so many years fall behind, so many decades, right? Generations to really from our root. So when they say get back to your root, as a young entity, as a young neuromelanated entity, I have been on that journey to get back to my root. And so these are all the elements that I have ran across. And then when I'm able to go inside and I'm able to go into the legacies, you know, of these Haitian gods and Orishas, all the same elements. All the same elements. You know, so this is confirmation, people. You know, you really gotta, like I say, Dig deep within yourself. You know, if you don't want to look at nothing that's on this internet, dig deep within yourself and let it come out of you, as it did for me. Peace and love to you all. That's what I'm here to continue to guide you, continue to uplift you and encourage you. And so the elements all combining in the voodoo, rejecting the status, rejecting the whole status. Like, man, we ain't gonna be considered slaves no more. So that's why they had to rethink this. That's why they had to redevelop and reform. Now it's a modern day slave, but we don't even feel like we slaves because we getting money. Man, we slaves out here. And if we don't own no water source, we slaves. Peace and love to everyone. But if we don't own no water source, then we slaves out here. We got to keep paying on our land every year. We slaves out here. That's just what it is. And we just going to keep it plain to the water and to the land. Nothing else. Nothing else. You know, if we ain't tapping our land and got water flowing up out of there, and we got to continue to pay for water, we got to continue to pay for land that we already own, we slaves out here. You know, we must be freed. We must be freed, you know. And that's what the war's about, you know. And you know, number one is our women and our children, you know, our women and our children, which when we look at history, we all have been accustomed to the system. And so we all have to now break the system. We have to pretty much break away from the system. We have to do away with certain things. We have to, we're going to have to step out on that limb. We're going to have to step out on that ledge. We're going to have to know that ledge. We're going to have to master that ledge, right? That's the only option. That's the way out, you know? And that's just what it is. You know, letting go of the welfare system. You know, letting go of all the different benefits and things like that, right? But you know, we got so far to go. You know, but one day at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 second at a time, as we continue to, you know, transition. Everyone is transitioning 1 second at a time. So, you know, and then we realize the money is not really, you know, it's no matter. It's paper and plastic. Real cotton that we was picking, that the slaves was picking, was really made out of cotton. That's what, you know, what was coming to the surface. And so as we dig back into the soil, as we dig back into the roots, and we go through the war, and we see how it was displayed, but we see the people that they were pretty much, you know, they were threw under the rug, like, you know, in history. And the whole nation, they was threw under the rug. And then as they was being threw under the rug, they was still being attacked. And so while we were gaining our emancipation and feeling like we were our 4th of July Independence Day, they were attacking the real warriors. You know, they were attacking the people, you know, that keep our roots. And so you got to understand, if you're a flower, you're a plant, you know, if you're a tree of life, you know, you're a family tree, then we turned our back, or we didn't even know that they were attacking the root. Now that we know that they're attacking the root, now it's like, are we going to turn our back, or are we going to pay attention? Are we going to send a hand? Are we going to water the root? You know, are we going to heal the root? Help heal the root? Because we have roots. We got to get back to the roots. Peace and love to the planet. Yes. Let's get back. Let's get back to this bill. Salute to all the people. All the people of the Caribbean. Salute to you all. For all these products, I know we've all been slaves and slaving for products. We have to salute to all of us for all our blood, sweat, and tears. For all the ones we lost. You know, for all the ones that's still here, that still need to be strengthened. I take this shot for you all. Peace and love.